Okay, we'll bring Jeff Walburn up. So thank you very much, Jeff.
Thank you.
All right, can everybody hear me? Can you hear me good? Is it okay? I'm not hearing you, Williams. Okay, let's all do a seventh inning stretch here. You've been here a long time. Let's all stand up and stretch. That's a good idea. And if the elected officials are home on their couch, they can stand up and do a seventh inning stretch too. I don't know what they're doing. They're probably, they're not here. But if you look at this is Anne Marie White. The government the Senate had the good sense to hire this woman. Her dad was a professional hockey player. She's a tough lady. I'm getting a little bit of ring back. She's a tough lady. She was brought into DOE to be the Environmental One manager, and she was Senate confirmed. She had her own business. She had worked internationally. She had the credentials down in the weeds to do the job. She was the one. So this picture here, that's right before the 29th of May, or April, excuse me. They fired her shortly after the Zons Corner School. And so I called her on the phone. And she's a demure lady, tough. Her dad was a hockey player. And the first thing out of her mouth said, you know, they fired my ass, Jeff. Now let that sink in. They put out in the paper that she stepped down. She didn't step down. They run her out because she was too honest. And I said, do you know why they fired you? And she said, yeah, they manipulated some ACERs, the ACER reports, and I found the numbers and changed them back. And I think that's why they fired me. And I said, did you know who fired you? I said, my opinion, Paul DeBar was the science head at that time. He was a former submariner, undersecretary of energy, but he was an investment banker for JP Morgan prior to coming to Dove. So the revolving door of the banks that's who fired her, because HALU was on the line. That's my opinion. Now you got JP Morgan, you got Daniel Poneman, Centris, and you got Bill Gates. The HALU program, I said, that's why you were put out the door, whether you want to believe that or not. But at the 27th meeting, they talked about Zons Corner. And I hope all of you has got to see those documents that Chick had. These ACERs ran 2 years, 2017 and 18 reported in 2019. The numbers on 2017 for Zons Corner were bad, and that's what closed the school. They came in on Memorial Day. Doe got off of their duffs, come in on Memorial Day, jumped in there and said, oh, we got the samples, your stuff's no good, we know. So what they didn't tell, you had Jeremy Davis, his name's come up here a couple times. It was cesium out of a fire alarm. It was J.D. Dow. It was fallout. But they had hidden the ACERs on Camp Creek in 2018, and every number across the board was worse than Zons Corner. And they hid that number, told a lie to the general public. That's not malicious, my friends. That is criminal. That is criminal. And they told this lie. They followed Chick. He's telling they went to a school board meeting and talked about cosmic radiation from an airplane, how you get more cosmic radiation. Said, Jeremy, we're not talking about cosmic, we're talking about uptake. Alpha emitters getting inside your body and destroying it from the inside. But the unique thing was they had a Scioto County commissioner following him around like a blind dog in a meat house. And that's my opinion. But Brian Davis, no, they're not related, but they're a lot alike. Now, the man run around, people here don't know, when you see Chick, they run him out of the plant. We picked up automatic weapons every day. And we'd sling them on our back, and they would see Chick come in, and they'd say, that man's going to have you wearing a barrel. He's going to run you out of here. We're not going to have a job. He was the OSHA investigator, and he's putting the magazine in an automatic weapon, and he'd just smile and sling it and go on. But they had Chick down to, they shoved him out of the plant. It was perfect. He got a hernia in his lumbar, and it put him out of a job. Other people were brought back, but not Chick. They had him down to $3.74 at one point. He could not pay his bills and had his church not come in and saved him. $3.74. Now, that's getting pretty damn close to home. So I'm Chick's nurse. I used to work at the plant. They threatened to bomb Chick's family and car. They threatened me to take me out of the plant by any means necessary. I testified in the United States Senate. I testified in front of Health and Human Services. I testified right in this building 24 years ago, and I called DOE criminal. And they are still criminal. They are criminal. These people, I don't know where they get their money. I don't know how they get their money, but they are not doing their job. They should be kicked out of their job. Or I was thinking of East Palestine, Ohio. And I thought, damn, if N&W had been in the nuclear business, they could have walked. They come down on Norfolk and Southern like a load of bricks. And I'm here to tell you, they all rolled out. They haven't had one fatality. We got 11 dead kids at one school. AML leukemia. There's people sick all over the community. You can't eat your produce. Where are they? Where are they? I'll put the spurs on. I'll rep you. I'll ride that bronc. No, I'm a hillbilly. I'm just like you. You ain't like me. Because if I tell you something, or I put my hand out and shake your hand, I mean it. And if I say I'll go to the wall for you, like Chick Lawson, I called him from my bed 30 years ago, and we've been on an investigation that has not stopped for 30 years. And I'm here to tell you, that man right there, if he tells you something, he is your friend, not like these people. They want to be somebody. That's how you be somebody. You stand by your family, your friends, your community. So go ahead and switch to the next one. I talked a long time on that one, but can you? All right, next one. Okay, Carl Hartley's sitting here. Carl come to me and they said, well, they're putting Hallow in. He said, did they know about that burial site underneath the 7725A? I said, what burial site? And he said, we was on strike. And he goes, you know, we all go our separate ways. He said, I become a safety guy, and said, one of my friends become a truck driver, and we were out on strike. And he said, Carl, he said, we're burying radioactive material underneath the foundation in this new building where Hallow is going to be right now. So, Carl, let's see, longest serving trustee member of the local union executive board, longest serving shift safety officer, longest serving secretary
treasurer of the Atomic Energy Workers Council, longest serving president of the Atomic Energy Workers Council, served 40 years as a certified occupational safety health administrator, certified OSHA accident investigator, served 2 years as the alternate local union safety officer. 45 years. My friends, that's how you do it. That is how you do it. You serve, you serve, you serve, you serve, and they do not serve. And Carl Hartley said, another one, he said, guys digging, they didn't put the anodes around this building and everything rusted. So I'll make this quick. Guys called in and said, fix that sewer under there. And they said, well, we did. So what do you want us to do with that truck underneath there we just dug up? So they're over the emergency operations center and said, a truck? I said, yeah, we're looking right in the windshield of the thing. So we know what a truck is. It's sure in the sewer system. So they said, well, fix the sewer and just bury the thing. So you got 2 additional burial sites on the plant that I went to the NRC, and the NRC says they called the house, 10 people on the phone. And I said, you all know anything? I don't know. I said, we do. And I said, Carl Hartley tells me that it's the truth. And I said, you know, you all, you got a problem. I said, you're always there on Doe's hand. You're always right there at their beck and call. You do their bidding. I said, you know anything about the fire you guys covered up in December 9th, 1999, December 9th? He said, no. I said, well, we do. We've got a 2.5-hour confession from a man that says they put 50 pounds of chlorotrifluoride through the system and burn it to the ground. Now, there were Russians on site. There was no rule out espionage. There was no rule out arson. So the man tells, and then I start finding other people. Tom Sexton said, me and Jack Tooley was with Charlie Cox from the NRC, and Charlie was a mechanical engineer standing up above the top of the purge and said, what the hell blew this up? So Tooley says, I think I know, and I wanted to. He said, are you on the investigation team? He said, no, they don't want me on the investigation team, because he was the go-to guy in the 326 that knew more than anybody. And don't kid yourself, my friend. There are whispering circles and safety, and guys said, hey, we burnt the plant down. So they bring in Bill Landrum, and he's going to talk to the tribal trust in there. And Sexton's there, and he'd been a fireman. He'd come there to ES&H by the way of fireman. They said, Sexton, you get out. This is from Tom. He told me, he said, get out. He said, what are you going to talk about? He said, I told you to get out. So before he can get out, Landrum says, I know what's in that report, but I know what's not going to be in that report. If we tell the government we lost control of this cascade and that COF3 was put through this building, he said, we may as well just turn the keys over to them. So we got burial sites under 725A. 31 proposals was put on the table to refit the 326. They turned them all down. USEC investigated. They said that the top of the purge was 7%, and anybody that knew anything knew it was 60 to 80% assay. So NRC should never, under the agreement, been doing that investigation. And they knew because Charlie Cox, so they lied to the Congress and covered up the fire. 31 proposals. They waited 2 years and went cold iron and started the buzzword, we ceased operations. I said, you sure did. You ceased them in a great way. So we're talking felonies that are going on here at the plant. And there's nobody investigating them. The regulator is a perpetrator. Anybody that stands up, and when I testified in front of the United States Senate, they gave me a book. It was full of unsolicited letters of people that had been thumbed down by the Department of Energy. They've spent over $1 billion to come after people that spoke out against them. Threatened me. That's why I'm a nurse. I'm a nurse now. I walked off the job 31 years. They threatened to take me off the job. Two guys, one spitting in my face, one here like this how many of you have had your hands up on your job? And I'm not talking about home when your wife puts you in the third degree. I'm talking about on your job. You say, and I'm talking. I'm a fighter. I fought, I boxed, I hand-to-hand combat, I've done all that. But there comes a time, I said, you're wrong, get somebody here. So I walked out of that plant after 31 years. They even come and hammered me on my unemployment, but I become a nurse. And now I take care of Chick Lawson, and that's the best job I ever had. I'm not going to go through all this, but I'm telling you that we have the documents. We have the documents. Elizabeth Tenike given a report in 1996, and she says, well, there is an area of perjury in the 326. And I said, right word, you just spelled it wrong. And I said, that's a fact. Lied to the Congress. They lied to the Senate. We went up there, was barricaded with weapons the night before I testified in the Senate because Fred Thompson told what we were going to say the next day and was trying to scare us, but I don't scare too easy. And I walked point all night with the .38 caliber in my hand, and then I testified the next day, and they undershot me with a false report. Doe delivered it. They changed my medical records. I have 2 sets. They changed the ACR documents. They changed my medical records and dosimetry records. And then, like Chick says, they go up to Health and Human Services. CDC found it. They found the hidden logs. And Herman Potter and Chick was present. And they said, Chick says, get the logs. We'd like to see them. So they get the logs. And when Chick, he's a good investigator, he said, get the other set. We know you got them. So the guy looks and says, get the other logs. So in front of 2 CDC investigators, Stephen Aaronholtz and John Cardarelli, they produce a hidden set of logs. Now, you got a mom and pop grocery store or you're driving a semi, you're going to jail right now if you produce 2 sets of books. Not at Piketon. Not with, we had a plant manager. I'm going to tell this, Carl. He worked in the 300. He got drunk, come in the 300, danced on the tables. I got my bonus, 1.2. I delivered you guys head on a platter. I got my bonus. They locked him in central files that night. He was a choker. He would throw phones. He choked people. He'd grab them by their privates. This is a guy running a major facility that makes 97% assay. Talk about not letting the guy have the key. But when they destroyed that plant, we lost the ability to make 97% assay warheads. We lost the ability to make 92% nuclear fuel. We lost that. They were shipping, when they tore the plant down, Chick, I'm not stepping on your stuff, but I'm on a roll here. So they had machines, compressors full of 97% assay. The guy comes, said it's spilling out like tide. They capped them and shipped them as spare parts. Where is that material? who shipped it. It went right through your community. You wonder how you get sick. That's how you get sick. So they shipped this material out. Daniel Poneman, who's over Citrus, was Undersecretary of Energy. What's going on here? Why is this guy such a Manchurian candidate favorite son? You know, no one looks at him. And I might be putting a bullseye on my back by even saying it. We've been threatened. I'm not laying down. I'm not going to shut up. We've got the documents. These people know it. I gave J.D. Vance a paper called the Holy Grail. And everybody, you know what the Holy Grail is. So Brian Gray had been a seminary student, the guy that come to get the documents. And he says, what's the Holy Grail? I said, well, what's it to you? He said, well, it's the thing that changes everything. I said, yes, that's true. He said, what's your Holy Grail? I said, 10 CFR Part 76. You had to have a certificate of compliance in order to go private. The first one, USEC failed. The second one, they failed again. And if you'd read a report, it was like a comedy. We spent $300 million. We got to get this right in 2 weeks. I'm not kidding you. And then some guy goes, man, I like this meeting, and we ought to have some more of these. And these guys were ready to commit suicide because they knew their job was gone. In steps Daniel Poneman again with Madeleine Albright and just awards them their contract, a multi-billion-dollar international contract, just gives it to them. I said, hell, chick, you reckon we ought to get a pickup truck and go down and see if we can get some uranium? You know, maybe they'll give us some. You know, no, they like Daniel Poneman. He was put into office by the National Security Council. And you think, well, who's against me? Who's against me? We had Bobby Vaughn. He FOIA'd the Clinton Library on the privatization of nuclear. CIA, NSA, it's all, everything that we do gets flagged, stopped. Senator Brown, where are you? I don't know. He's not here. And anyway, we go to Washington. Senator Brown, we went to Markey. We went to Rand Paul, threw us out of his office. So Brown goes, how about you staying over another day? I said, Sharon, we don't have 2 pennies we had to have somebody donate suits to us. We don't have 2 pennies. I said, hell, let's stay. Come to the coffee. So he's in there and big room about like this. So it's like the parting of the Red Sea. He runs right to me and Chick. He goes, I hear you. I hear you. I said, do you? Do you hear us? Well, I do. I said, well, good. I said, what do you hear? He said, well, I've seen a dossier. They were running a dossier on me and Chick. And he said, and he put his finger out like this. And I said, did you like it? Did you like it? He said, well, I don't think you're the ignorant hillbilly they say you are. I said, oh, yeah, I am. Don't you take that from us. Hell, that's all we got left down where we live. I said, don't take that from us. And so Doug, I'm trying to think of his aide's name, Babcock. We're going, what'd you do with them documents? What'd you do with them documents we gave you? Well, so-and-so left, and they took them. I said, here's you another copy. And we're going and holding them. He started to grab them. He said, not so fast. You're going to sign for these. We got assigned where he got the documents. But I'm telling you, we meet Bob Alvarez outside the Senate. And I had sent Bob Alvarez a box of documents that should have put any good criminal in jail. So we get up there, and here's Herman Potter. We just come off the Senate floor, and he says, this is Bob Alvarez. and got my bodyguard with me. I said, that's the guy you got busted for pot. They busted Bob Alvarez for pot because he was going to help the union. They didn't like his mouth, just like they got rid of Anne-Marie White. Anybody that gets in their way, I don't care if you're a young kid in school, they'll run over you to get what they want. Am I lying? You know it. And they're doing it. And they're lying to these workers out here. And they're telling them, oh, they're going to shut the plant down. We want it cleaned up, but my God, don't kill us all to do it. Don't steal S&M. $144,000 an ounce for that S&M. Where is it? Where is it? We went to the FBI, Cincinnati. The guy goes, how dare you go to Jeff Sessions and go around me? I said, well, you're not all that. Who do you think you are? And we were SWAT. I said, hell, we met you in the field. We spanked your ass. I said, you're not all that. I said, if we had the money you had, we'd had these people put in jail. So we tell them, we show them. We went to the DOJ. They're stealing S&M. They're diverting S&M. Look up this, write this down and remember it, because they talked about Apollo, Pennsylvania. There's an issue called, an incident called Apollo Numec incident, the Apollo Numec incident. And that Apollo Numec incident, Portsmouth, now you say, well, oh, that's impossible. No one steal uranium. Portsmouth sent 97% assay to this man. He was Jewish. He was a brilliant man. He had made the Nautilus sub. They sent 600 kg, and he claimed 200 kg were floor sweepings. And now the Israelis have a bomb that come from Portsmouth. 4 presidencies. Somebody's telling me about tolling. What statute of limitation? I said, hell, it ain't stopped. It's not legacy, it's standard operating procedure. Steal, run over, intimidate, hurt. And that's what they're doing. And they're doing it every day. And then they run stooges out. And if you was lucky enough to see Dwayne Pullman catch Ike White before he went out the door, and he says, is there plutonium at Portsmouth? And Ike White says, plutonium? He said, yes, is there plutonium at Portsmouth? Well, that plant was designed to process uranium. I said, is there plutonium at Portsmouth? Well, I don't know that. I said, hell, everybody else did. The janitors, how long we known it, Vida? Elizabeth Tinnock said, oh, there's no plutonium. Vina had her in 95 up against the wall. Said, you don't know what you're talking about, and you're on the privatization committee. You don't know that the top of the purge is 70 to 80%. How in the hell can you do your job? You're very pompous in what you do, but you know nothing. And I said, Ike White is going places in Doe. He don't know nothing. He don't know nothing. He is destined to be the Secretary of Energy, I'm sure, because he wouldn't say plutonium or crap if he had a mouthful. And he is a little stooge, in my opinion. But you watch that film, you'll see. And they threw a good woman out of her job. And like I said, she's tougher than pine knot. I'd like to meet her. She started her own distillery. I said, I'd have a drink with you. I said, I don't want to fight with you, but I'm done. I've said enough. But I got all these documents that I'm telling you, this is not horse bit stories. I've got documents to back everything that we say. If we get these on the table in a fact-finding federal hearing, someone should be in jail. And these people surely should get some letter in their file of the nonfeasance, malfeasance. What do you call that? I was a city councilman for 8 years. You serve. That's your job. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeff Walburn.